Hi, welcome back to the Gentleman's Bureau. I got my friend Mark over there in Okinawa, Japan. I got Jed, probably in Illinois. I don't know. He's a nomad. He travels a lot. And then we got Nala right there, being a good kitty. And welcome back, boys. How you been?
Uh,
Uh,
Worried. State of the
yeah,
world is a little crazy. Everything's on fire, it seems like. And
things are turbulent.
yeah, jeez, this was a
Yeah,
roller coaster. We'd
I
be
haven't
off
really
the
been keeping up
tracks.
with it, to be honest. I've kind of zoned out of it all. I feel like if because I feel like I don't need to watch the news because the next step, it just seems it's gonna be like a nuke blast or some shit. I don't know.
It's
You
very
know,
possible.
yeah. So, um, I haven't been keeping my thumb to the pulse or whatever, but I take a look at work every once in a while, and me and the guys try to, we end up just chatting about it throughout the day. Like Dan will just be like, "Hey man, saw your podcast last night. Did you hear what Russia did?" Thanks for watching, Dan. I really appreciate that. But yeah, so he's kind of keeping me informed by asking me if I've heard about things and then telling me about them when I say that I haven't. And then yeah, sometimes on my lunch break I'll take a look at what's going on. I heard that Russia did bomb an active nuclear power plant, not like Chernobyl. I'm not sure which would be worse, honestly. Uh, Probably the active one hasn't had
Yeah.
time to cool down. Uh, it's kind of an important thing when you talk about nuclear power. Shit's got to cool down. Uh, But yeah, not a smart move, if you ask me. I mean, I'm sure it'll cause some problems to Ukraine's power grid, which might affect its ability to fight back. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna
Oh,
make it harder on you guys too. So
yeah. Apparently, uh, the nuclear power plant is the largest one in Europe. Uh,
even better. So that's so much better.
yeah, and it powers about 25% of that country, or in some way it does, some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a worthwhile military target.
Yeah, uh, um, it's ridiculous because that's like a war crime that everybody's agreed on, uh, along with the cluster bombing and the vacuum bombing, all war crimes, along with targeting civilians, also war crimes.
Sorry,
How many war
say
crimes are we gonna put up with?
did you say vacuum bombing?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like implosion grenades?
It's so a vacuum bomb is. I really, I really have no idea. I heard about it. It sounds bad, and apparently it's a banned weapon. That's what I know so
Vacuum.
far.
Do you mean like? Oh, I think you're talking about a thermobaric weapon.
No, no, no. What he's talking about is, have you ever seen Spaceballs with the vacuum in the space and it's Mega Maid and she
But
goes
that
from
wasn't a bomb. That
suck to blow? I think that's what he's referring to.
No, I'm pretty sure it's a thermobaric weapon, and what it is basically most conventional explosives, like you know, dynamite, black powder, that kind of stuff. It's got a mix of fuel and some kind of oxidizer. Because like, what do you need to make fire? Fuel, air, and ignition.
Okay.
Well, thermobaric is like 100% fuel. So it uses the oxygen around it to complete the triangle, which causes it to be a much more aggressive explosion because it seems to, spread out much more than a traditional explosive because it's
Okay.
it's going for that air.
Oof.
Yeah, so it's basically like a small explosive in a pile of fuel, and it just goes boom, and then it just goes boom. So yeah, it goes like pop, and then boom, And it's yeah.
I see. So it's just a much larger explosion.
It's more aggressive. Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
yeah. It's more aggressive.
Well, we can obviously see how aggressive this all is. I mean, from the videos, from the pictures, there's
What's
cities
blowing
that are
my
just
mind is like
nothing
the
but
people.
ash.
What's blowing my mind is the people that are staying in Kiev. It's like, what? I would get out of there now.
Yeah. It would be like regroup. That city doesn't mean anything if you're like, oh, it's the capital,
But
all that. No, no, no. Like, get out, regroup. It seems like the East is fairly safe. Collect yourself,
but
push back.
what if it was your capital? You know, what if it was where you lived?
Well, you got me.
Would
If
you be
that
able
was
to
the
say the
case,
same thing? Would you be able to say the same thing?
probably not. Probably not.
Yeah,
I'd
I would.
probably
I'd
fight.
fucking leave.
There's
I'd fucking leave. It's a place. I've been all around the world. There's many other places that are you can be other places and have a good time. And that doesn't look like a good time to be in Kiev.
You're not wrong. I mean,
I don't know. I think
it's a
there's
lot of
I
symbolism.
think there's yeah, and I think there's a lot of like an innate human instinct to defend your territory.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like an animal instinct that we've been hanging on to for the last like 3,000 years. So much so that we start thinking other people's territory is our territory and just like start building shacks, in our territory. That's really not, but we say it is.
Yeah,
But that's a
and there's
totally
some
different
parallels.
conflict.
There's some parallels to be drawn. Like, we kind of invaded Iraq and we were there for how long? I mean,
Uh,
and we kind
my
of,
entire life.
yeah, basically my entire life. And it's like, that was just for the military industrial complex. And then
Yep.
apparently we have and I'm not defending Russia, I'm not, but I'm just saying, when another country does it, it's, oh shit, what the fuck? Now, yeah, they are, there's civilians, they're bombing them, and that's not good. But like, dude, have we seen any? If we had footage like we do today of how we took Iraq, Afghanistan, all of those Middle Eastern territories, would we still be defending? The reason we went in there, especially after we got the guy that we were looking after or we were looking for.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
definitely don't think we would.
not to mention the fact that the attack was claimed by Saudi Arabia. So why the fuck did we go to Iraq in the first place? But why did we go to Afghanistan? Why did we go to Iran? We were all over the Middle East.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it that like they were bunkered up into mountains and hard to get to, but I don't know. It just feels like there was something else going on. And I mean, the reason that seemed okay, I guess, because a bunch of other people were doing it with us. Like Russia had troops in there that we weren't like buddy buddy with, but I mean, we were both doing the same thing, rolling in, killing terrorists, taking oil.
Yep.
But now,
Have you seen those? Have you seen those little videos where it's like, or little like headlines, news articles where it's like the FBI and the CIA accidentally came together on a drug deal and shot each other. It's like, what the fuck are we doing?
right?
Can we have some communication? Like, what are we doing?
It's like a bad sitcom. God.
Yeah, it really is anymore. It's
Yeah,
it's a clown show. We live in there's I don't know.
dude, it's
Why?
reality TV. It's reality TV. We live in reality TV. We just don't know it. But no, like that's hilarious. Like, I mean, just read up Operation Fast and Furious, and that situation won't seem that crazy to you. Honestly, I'm pretty sure a similar situation arose as a part of that. Actually, I think it was more local law enforcement that they didn't tell about what was going on. I don't know. All I know is they lost a lot of drugs that ended up going right back to cartels and weapons, and their own people got killed by those weapons that they were going to use to trap the cartels instead of we're going to arm the cartels with weapons that they didn't have and not get many of them at all, if any. Total fucking clusterfuck.
Yeah. Do you want to tell the people what that was all about? Because I'm not even 100% sure what it was all about. I just knew Obama was funding something about guns. What they did was they tracked the guns in order to find the drugs, or they gave the cartels guns with tracking devices on them, right? And then just so they could see where it was being sold through the South in order to find the drugs. But then they ended up using those weapons to kill Americans or something along those lines, right?
You're pretty close.
Yeah, you've pretty much got the synopsis there. Let me just real quick.
And while Jed's looking that up, I just want to say this is why you should not. Well, I'm not going to beat a dead bush, with trusting the government and all that. But I'm just saying, like, when your conspiracy theory friend is trying to tell you something and you think he's batshit crazy, but then these, Freedom of Information Act requests come out, or these CIA released documents come out, and you show them in their face, it's amazing. They're like, they look at it and they go, "Wow, that's wild. We did that." Almost like Operation. What was it? It was with the Cuban Missile Crisis, and they were going to. It was Operation Northwood, or was it Northwoods? Where they were going to take it was signed by all 4 Joint Chiefs of Staff. They were going to take an aircraft, a dummy one, say that these college students were on it. The college students would fly off in another aircraft, and then they'd use the dummy aircraft, fly it over Cuba. It would get shot down. We would blame Cuba. Then we would go to war with Cuba. All 4 Joint Chiefs of Staff signed that. So,
Lord.
And
so they're drooling right now over whatever could happen, right?
Oh yeah,
Right,
they're waiting.
They're salivating, big time.
So, a couple of the details of Operation Fast and Furious that we don't really need, but like I found them, so I might as well go over them. It was like 2008 to 2012, so like height of Obama. Not saying like he was directly involved or anything. Most of it was coming from the ATF. They tracked about 2,000 guns through various sellers in the South, like you said. As of 2011, they only recovered 710 of those 2,000. Most of the ones they've recovered actually have been recovered at crime scenes on both sides of the U.S.-Mexico border. And as of 2012, none of the high-level cartel people that they were after have been arrested. Just a bunch of low-level, straw-picking, average criminals. So absolute failure. Way to go. Chalk another total loss up to the good old United States.
How do you walk into the office that day and be like, "Hey, I got an idea. We're gonna give guns to criminals."
Hey man, I got an idea.
Literally.
We're gonna give the guns to the criminals. I know. Bear with me, man. And then we're gonna use the guns to arrest the criminals, man. What could go wrong? Yeah. So they took the guns, and we have no idea where they went.
Yeah. Johnson, I want to report.
Disappeared.
How's it going?
They're gone, sir. They're just gone. The guns.
What do you mean they're gone?
They're all gone.
I thought this plan was foolproof.
They shot Jerry. They took the guns, they got away, and they shot Jerry.
God damn it. Let's do it again like 10 years down the road. We'll call it something else.
Right? Operation Too Fast, Too Furious.
Exactly.
You get Dom in there for family. Fucking he's going across the border.
They're not as strong as family.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was... Actually, one of the Fast and Furious movies is basically Operation Fast and Furious. Shit you not. I can't remember which one it is. It might be 3 or 4. Like, in the actual timeline, not chronological release.
Yeah, that's when I think that's when Dom's chick like forgot her memory or who she was or something, and then
because she was working with the dude, and there was that dude with the mohawk, and he had the green hot rod, and we had like white stripes on it, and he was running that weird kind of fuel mixture thing, and Dom was like, it was like nitro meth or something like that. This guy's running nitro meth or something like that. I can't remember what the fuck it was called.
It's like nitrous oxide and methanol.
I have
Something
no
like that,
idea. I have
probably.
no clue. I think I'm pretty sure he just said nitro meth. Like it was like a little powder that he picked up on the road. Like he went there like a fucking crime scene detective. He just like looked around, and you could see like some ghost cars going through as he visualized the accident. Then he went up to this like little tiny scuff, and he was just like, "Yeah, it's nitro meth. There's only
Fucking
one guy in
licked it and
town that
shit.
runs nitro meth.
Yeah, right. It's always that one guy.
There's a one guy."
Yeah, but
Oh,
speaking of
how?
like detectives and stuff,
Yeah,
fucking the other day I watched the new Batman in theaters,
yeah.
and I have
You've been
to.
watching a lot of movies lately, haven't you?
Yeah, it's freaking cool. Went with my buddy, and fucking, it was so good. Honestly, I had like low expectations because I was like, oh, it's Robert Pattinson, like the Twilight dude. You know, what's this gonna be about? You know, really. But I actually liked it. I came in there with like low expectations, like I said. Be prepared too if you're gonna go watch it. It's like 3+ hours, so go to the bathroom
Dang.
before. Stock up on your your sodies and your fucking popcorn. I had to leave the theater like once or twice to get popcorn and a refill because I just ran out. So I did grab the small bag of popcorn, but anyways, yeah, no, they actually like the way they portray Batman in this new one. I have to say is probably better than the other movies because Batman they basically made him what he was supposed to be in the first place. In the originals, he was more of a detective. He would go to the crime scenes, he'd look at things, he would analyze, come back to the commissioner with a report, or maybe not the commissioner, but the side detective guy who's he's in on the shit. But
Yeah, Commissioner Gordon.
I'm not sure if that was him. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, so it was really good, and they didn't. You know how like the Batmobile was like very extravagant and like very just crazy in the last movies. This one was very simple, and it actually was bad as fuck. There's just one scene like when you first see the Batmobile, like I actually got goosebumps because of the way that they like revealed it out of the shadows and shit. It was pretty cool. But yeah, if you're looking for
Uh,
a good movie to watch, go see the new Batman. It's worth it.
yeah,
Cool.
I heard something about that actually. One of the scenes where like a car does like a jump through some fire or some shit. Apparently, everybody thought like the actors thought that was gonna have to be like CGI'd and shit. And then when it came to film it, they're like, "Well, why is there like a car here and a ramp?" And they're like, "Yeah, man, you're gonna do the jump. We're doing
Oh
this
no.
real, man."
Oh no.
Apparently, it was like such a low risk stunt that they're like, "Yeah, if he fucks it up, he's an idiot.
Oh,
He
nice.
deserves it." Like it was like that simple of a thing to do. Or I don't know. I didn't really look at all the details, but no, I just hate that
Did he
Robert
have
Pattinson
gravelly
gets
voice, Batman?
Yeah, but then
where are they?
it was a little weird because sometimes I think he fucked up and he wasn't using his voice. And then like other times I'm like, okay, it's very obvious when he takes the mask off, he's the same fucking guy because it's just from here up. And like I didn't understand why people were like, "Oh, it's you." Like, come on, dude. Are you fucking serious? He fucked up using his voice and then it's just
Yeah.
very obvious, he's like, "When are you going to tell me the real, you know, like the guy, the fucking detective guy, when are you going to tell me your real identity?" And he's like sitting there talking in Bruce Wayne's voice. And then it's like, you really? Yeah. You were just talking to Bruce Wayne yesterday, and now you're talking to Batman. He's got the same voice. Come on. Let's use our head. But the
Yeah,
bat suit's pretty badass too. I don't know. I like the whole movie. So
but yeah.
No.
I mean, people give Robert Pattinson a lot of shit for Twilight. Like, you gotta remember, like a lot of people like those movies. Okay, and I mean, as somebody who's read the
yeah,
books, I
a
mean,
lot of people like those movies. I don't know who. Like, not me though. I don't watch that stuff. That's no. That's not me. I don't do that. Like with Jacob and Edward. Yeah, those guys never even watched a single
what you
single
bet you know
movie.
what his brothers and sisters' names are, Lane.
Oh, you mean? No, no, I don't know who. No, I don't know.
Can you even name like one?
Nope.
Okay, all right.
No.
Anyway, a lot of people like those movies, and he didn't do a bad job for the role he was supposed to play. And if you watch any of his other movies from before Twilight or even after Twilight, he does good in them. Like Remember Me is a really good movie, and he does good in it. I mean, he's again playing a really like moody guy, so I mean, playing to his niche, I guess. But there was a couple movies he did before that, and I mean, he's a pretty all right actor. He knows his shit. Um, but yeah, he does have a bit of a niche that he's playing, and Batman just kind of happens to fit into that niche of moody dude, moody loner dude
Yeah.
with daddy
Yeah,
issues.
you got a really good point. I always like talking about movies with you, Jed, because you always bring the actor aspect of it in, and it brings it full circle. It makes more
Right.
fucking sense. So
Yeah.
like I can always appreciate bringing a movie to Jed. He's pretty knowledgeable on the mannerisms and little shit like that.
Speaking of actors, we can tie this back into the biggest news of our time. Ukraine, the president. Did you see he is an actor? He's a comedian, actor,
I did not
now
see that
president.
actually.
You
I
didn't see
mean,
that he was an
right now
actor?
he's a fucking guerrilla fighter, okay? But I mean, that's a pretty good, astounding resume.
Yeah, I know. This dude has some of the biggest balls in the world.
Grande cojones. I don't know what the Ukrainian version would be.
I don't know either. Just
If
say it.
anybody out there knows Ukrainian and is watching this, let us know what big balls is in Ukrainian, just so we can say it next time.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you, world.
Yeah, I mean, man, jeez. He's staying behind. Like, he's been offered multiple rides. He's turned them all down, which honestly, best move because like you're building like way more support and way more people are gonna fight then, right? If they see
Yep.
the leadership is there.
Well, it could be a tactic, right? So maybe he is getting support, but to the world he's not. So there's that aspect, and then there's the aspect of because we're playing 3D. You have to play 3D chess when it comes to war, dude, big time. So he might be just saying all these things when in reality, people are sending a huge amount of Bitcoin and some shit coins their way. So you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean, if we've seen the footage of him, he's pleading for help constantly every day. Did you see that he said there's like 16,000 foreign fighters now helping Ukraine? Like foreigners that have come in as volunteers to help fight the Russians?
Nice.
Dang.
Nice. I mean, not that I really want to like leave my comfy American home and my job. That probably would be pretty upset if I just left and maybe never came back. I mean, if somebody paid for my flight, I'd consider going over Poland and walking my happy ass to Ukraine.
I think they're just taking a lot of people with military experience, but I have seen
I
some
played Call of
that
Duty.
have, yeah, I have 400 hours logged.
Bro,
well, I
I was
think
just in Verdansk. Okay.
okay, I was gonna bring that up. Do you think? Because it all seems I saw this. I saw that. Yeah. Okay, Jed. You know where I'm going with this. I saw this post. It was a photo, and they had done World War One, World War Two, and then they did World War Three. And what it was they were doing the math. Okay, they took the dates, they added the numbers together. It all came out to 68. And then they took the date that Ukraine was invaded. They did the math on that date, and it was 68. So everything was coming out to 68. So I think, and the guy was like, everything is mathematical. It's one of those Facebook pages I follow. And so what I'm thinking is this is just it was in the making, right? And they came and like Call of Duty. They had Warzone, Verdansk that took place in let's say Ukraine, Russia, right? They were using that language. So, you know, I think they and Hollywood and the CIA is very involved when it comes to Hollywood when it comes to propaganda, when it comes to video games, because they need to push shit out to get you
Yeah.
ready. It gets you prepared, and so yeah,
Yeah. So
I
think
think
of
that's part of it.
actually what's interesting. Think about a lot of the games we've been playing recently before you got rid of your Xbox. Verdansk, Call of Duty, where we went to Russia and killed people in an urban environment. Um, DayZ, where you're running around uh, Eastern European / Russian area fighting zombies, sure, and bears, but also other players in an urban environment with a lot of house to house type shit. Vigor, which is like a survival game, but you go on excursions to towns and shit where you fight other players in an urban environment, house to house. I mean, it's like they're
Escape
setting
from
us up for this.
Tarkov.
I was going to say that one too. Escape from Tarkov. People are making memes about that in Ukraine. They're spray painting Russian vehicles to say "Escape from Kharkov."
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, real shit. I mean, art imitates life. Life imitates art. It goes both ways. Okay. The question is, how much of it is art imitating life, and how
Ooh.
much of it is life imitating art by design? We got to remember. Okay. Now it's all conspiracy theories and smoke and shadows shit, but there's been rumor and there's been talk for years, decades of a secret cabal orchestrating all of the world's politics. Everybody likes to say, "Oh, the Illuminati." It might be the Illuminati. That could just be, an old one that got overthrown and replaced by a new one. Who knows, man? I don't think that our world leaders are leading the world as much as they'd have us think. Personally, like you said, Lane, with all the 68 dates for World War One, II, and the invasion of Ukraine, all those going up to 68, that sounds like intentional design to me. That sounds like, shit was done on purpose. Okay? Why'd the Japanese decide to, out of the blue, bomb America in World War II after we had already vowed that we were not going to get into the fight unless somebody pokes the bear? Why did they then do the one thing that could possibly stop them from winning the war that they were clearly already winning? Oh, hey, we're going to win the war unless we fuck with America? Let's fuck with America. Like, it's just a stupid idea unless it was planned. Unless it was part of the plan. Maybe it was intentional to get us to join the war. To get us to build and start the Manhattan Project.
Well, speaking of joining the war, like the potential for it, we'll say. So Russia's had all these war crimes, right? We've witnessed. We were just talking about it earlier.
Thermobaric, cluster bombs,
Mhm.
civilians. Yes.
Nuclear threat.
Yeah.
Everybody's hands off right now, which I understand. I get all that. But the Ukrainian president is freaking out, and he's demanding that somebody does something, right? Well, demand's a pretty strong word. He's just basically crying for help,
Begging.
begging, crying for help. Yes, and with all that, he's getting these volunteers that are coming, but he's asking for more. He's asking for a no-fly zone, right? He's like, we'll handle everything on the ground, just no-fly zone. But if we put in a no-fly zone, that's nuclear holocaust, right? Because we're
Something like
dealing
it.
with Putin, who has already proven that he's unpredictable. We can't pin him down, you know.
Nope.
We didn't think he was going to invade, or apparently we did. I still can't figure out Joe Biden saying that we didn't know if these were actually going to deter him or they were going to do anything. That was a
Well,
weird comment.
well, I need to figure out more on what Elon Musk is doing, but it's pretty evident that we have an incapable leader, an incapable administration. When the private sector steps in with Starlink and provides that to Ukraine and gets shit delivered instantaneously and is providing support. I mean, this just goes to prove that, the private sector can get shit done, whereas the government is very now maybe SpaceX. um, Actually, I'm pretty positive they have some ties to the government, with contracts and stuff. But are they masking that as a disguise? Like, is that basically, are we using Elon Musk as a front when really it's the government that is saying, hey, Elon, you want a fucking tax break, dog? Help these dogs out by doing this, or, we're going to, so that way it doesn't look like, oh, it's not we're not helping the government. We haven't done anything.
Private
It's just
sector.
Elon Musk doing it. We're not, this isn't us,
Yeah.
Yeah, I could
this
see
is the
that.
private sector.
I'm not sure which way it's going. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Elon Musk to just do it on his own, but I could see the government being like, "Hey, we're in a situation where we can't, our hands are kind of tied, but you're in the private sector." And then, like you were saying, if it is just Elon Musk, why is he being so successful when our governments can't do shit? They can't get shit shipped. A lot of that's bureaucracy, diplomacy, red tape, if you will. They got rules and regulations they have to follow, but the private sector's got a little bit more freedom. That's because it's a capitalist world right now. Everybody wants that money, and that leads to lighter limitations on companies and government. I mean, plus we just like to restrict government as much as possible anyway because that's good for the people. It'd be really cool if it was the government being like, "Hey, this is the way we can help without helping." But I also think it'd be pretty cool if Elon Musk just was doing it by himself. Starlink, by the way, it's a satellite array in low Earth orbit that provides high-speed internet and telecommunications eventually to the globe, but right now just to certain areas that don't have that kind of infrastructure built up the old way. So what he did was he sent a bunch of terminals to access the Starlink stuff and route it out to people, and then he repositioned some of his satellites, which they can do with wheels and shit, flywheels and stuff, to be more centralized over the Ukrainian area. So yeah, it's
Nice.
super cool what he's doing out there. I mean, he's delivering a bunch of other stuff too, but that was just the Starlink stuff. But yeah, definitely really cool what's going on there. It's really cool to see how many people and how many different countries are coming out to be like, we stand with Ukraine. It's a nice little unity thing for the planet.
Yeah.
Except for the whole Russia, Belarus, and then China thing. But can't
Yeah,
win
it
them
is
all.
nice. It's
China might
nice.
be backpedaling on a lot of stuff though. They've started to restrict some cash flow in between Russia and China with all these sanctions. So that might be a good move.
Yeah,
I still don't
great.
trust them.
Me either. I heard yesterday, it was yesterday, that the ruble is now worth less than a penny.
Yep. Yeah.
Can you imagine
That's
that? Your life savings, 200,000 rubles,
Dude, that's what
and now
scares me
it's
though,
20
is
bucks.
well, that's what scares me is you're either he's gonna back off because he's a dictator. So basically he's got a very strong ego. He believes in the old Russian ways. He wants the Soviet Union to be, the way it used to be. And you're backing him into a corner. You're taking all of his resources. You're making him pissed off. And what is a dictator that has nukes? Like what? Like if he's how old is he? Like 60 years old?
nine.
I'll
Something?
Google it.
69.
69. So he's 69 years old. Okay,
Nice.
he could just say fuck it and just fuck it. I don't give a shit. This is for fucking Russia. Beep. Sends a fucking nuke over there or something. I mean, really,
Yeah.
this guy
My
and as a last resort because you take everything from someone, they have nothing to lose. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
so my dad
His
actually
family
made a
is supposedly in a bunker in Siberia, and that's scary. I mean, there's rumors upon rumors about everything, and a lot of people are talking about how Russia doesn't even think of an EMP which is electromagnetic pulse, as nuclear war, even though you do use a nuke for it. They think of it as cyber warfare.
Yeah.
What a EMP would do is wipe out all of the electronic, like power grid, everything, um, from an area,
Yeah.
and Russia could do that in a click of a button too.
Yeah, but that really fucks up infrastructure. Um, but no, like Lane was saying though, my dad made a really good point the other day when I was talking to him about this. He said that Vladimir Putin has become a great deal like Adolf Hitler was, believing that his people are the best and they have the right to do whatever the heck they want. And
Yeah.
he, like the mindset of Putin has really transitioned to be like the mindset of Adolf Hitler, where he is the end all be all. He is top dog on Turd Mountain. He's the king. So he was like, I'm pretty sure that if Hitler had nukes, he would have launched a few before he shot his dog, poisoned his girlfriend, and then shot himself. If he
Yeah.
even actually did that. And I was like, yeah, man, I can't say that I think you're wrong. I definitely think Hitler would have sent off a few nukes before he offed himself, if he even did off himself. So when you compare
Or
that
ran to
to,
Brazil.
right, Argentina, that beautiful area down at the southern tip of Argentina that just, oh, it looks beautiful. It's very, loosely populated, a lot of trees, a lot of pig farmers too. Anyway, but yeah, he said that, and I was like, and Putin's just, he's going right down the same road, but he has the nukes, and now they're on high alert. So I mean, yeah, I mean, shit, I'm waiting to hear the siren. I'm expecting it.
What you think they'd tell us, or they'd spare us?
What do you mean?
Do you think that our government would inform us that nukes are coming, or they'd be like, it'd be too much anxiety,
Would
too
be
much of a
would
problem?
would they even have the time?
Yeah, they would. Especially like south of me, NORAD, Cheyenne Mountain. That's what that whole system is set up for. So I think they would have the time. I think that what they would do, though, ultimately, if you were to ask me, I think they would try to contain it themselves, and then like as a last, like, fuck, like there's too many, or shit like that. Then they would be like, it'd be too late when they did it. I think.
If one was coming
Yeah.
in, could we detonate it in the sky? I know that would probably cause the electromagnetic pulse, and we'd wipe out our power grid, but it'd be on our own terms. At least we wouldn't be dealing with like fallout and stuff like
Well,
that.
if it's close enough to knock out our electric grid, it's close enough to Fallout.
Yeah.
I ideally we would detonate it at its apogee, at the very peak of its arc into the upper atmosphere would be the
Hmm.
ideal place to do it, because then most of it would just go out into space and we wouldn't have to deal with it. And what did come down would be so dispersed that it wouldn't have as much of an impact as it would if it was, close enough to knock out the power grid. But
Yeah.
yeah, like Lan was saying, I think that they would do whatever they could to stop it and intercept those nuclear warheads and whatnot. But something's probably going to get through. And I mean, I think one of their first responses is going to be to launch ours. And there's enough people living where we got those set up that we would probably know that they got launched before we knew that we were launched at, and that news would get out like wildfire because that's what the internet's for.
Yeah. I mean, it's absurd how
What?
how fast it could go lights out, right?
So like what? Okay, are there people at the International Space Station like right now with Russian? Like, is there Americans and Russians working together right now at the International Space
Uh,
Station?
so yeah, technically yes. At the ISS, most of the time, individual countries do their own experiments. Um, but there are like when you go up to the ISS, your entire stay is booked. You have dedicated sleeping times, dedicated meal times, and you stick to the schedule. And you do all these different experiments. You check on them every day. You do different ones day to day that are only like a one-off type of thing. And they build in collaboration with other space agencies that are up there to foster, good relations and stuff. So I have seen some running memes about like the people on the ISS just be looking at each other like,
what's going on?
and I know that there was a threat of the chief coordinator at Russian space, whatever it's fucking called. But whoever runs the space program, there was a threat that he was going to try to redirect the ISS to crash into America.
Oh, Lord.
But the counter is that there's probably more Americans and other countries that would want that to not happen aboard the ISS than there are Russians who probably wouldn't follow that order either.
Word.
And I'm not sure if it's still a thing, but I know that back in the day, Russian return capsules used to have a shotgun in them. Because sometimes sometimes they landed in the Siberian wilderness and there were bears. So I don't think that's a thing anymore because most people go up to the ISS on like the Dragon, the SpaceX Dragon, Falcon 9 or whatever.
Nice.
Because it's the easiest and cheapest way to get to space nowadays. But there are other stuff. Oh, yeah. In other space news, did you guys hear that there's going to be a huge old rocket crashing into the far side of the moon pretty soon?
Oh, no, I didn't do that at all.
Yeah, NASA speculates that it's an old it's an old Chinese rocket, but China's like, we don't think so. Let me Google that, see what's going on with that.
Nice.
Coming from China, whose rockets fall wherever they fucking fall,
no shit.
and they don't even give a shit. They'll fall in some houses, and they're like, oh,
poor
we
ass
didn't
village.
know.
Oh my God, could you imagine that shit? So there is videos out there of these rockets, like shells or just parts, falling into Chinese villages, and it just decimates them. I mean, it looks like fucking a war zone. Oh my God. How many times are we going to bring up war zones? Oh, Jesus Christ. But still, I mean, it was... Oh, and these are poor, poor villages, too. Like, they still have outhouses if they're living the life of luxury out in these villages. They don't have teeth because they don't have health care, because they don't have education, because I mean, there's a guy chasing around ducks, like that's his farm. He's a duck farmer. He doesn't have anything else going on in his life, and he doesn't have a pot to even piss in or a window to throw it out of. And China's like, fuck that village, just crash it there. Who cares? And boom, bam, that guy's down to 2 ducks. He had 20. It's fucked. Ridiculous. Jed, you find anything out about that?
Oh yeah, so it hit the moon on the 4th. March 4th, it hit the moon at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the lunar far side, which means we can't see it from the ground because it's on the far side. If you didn't know, the moon rotates in opposition to Earth, so that as it's moving around us, it's constantly rotating at just the right speed, so that we're always looking at like the exact same side of it. Kind of cool.
Yeah, it seems suspicious. I'm gonna have to have my friend Elaine on and explain the flat Earth theory.
Yeah. But anyway. So we're not going to see any pictures of it for weeks or possibly months. However long it takes one of the lunar reconnaissance orbiter to get around the back, take a picture, and find the actual place that it hit. They originally thought that it was a SpaceX booster, but further analysis pointed it out to be a Chinese launcher origin, whatever thing. So they were pretty sure it was Chinese's old shit, but from 2014. But
With how the Chinese were like,
they don't think so. Yeah, exactly.
They're like, come on now.
But yeah, it was 3 tons, 6,000 pounds.
Ooh, another giant
That's
crater in the
so
moon.
fucking irresponsible, though, to be like, we don't think so, but we don't know where our rockets are, so it could be. Like, how are you that? Did I tell you the story about Switzerland and the tanks? How they lost?
No. They lost tanks.
Oh yeah, no, you did.
When I was,
I'll hear it again.
Well, it's been a while, but basically the long story short is, when I was in Switzerland, I was there for like a week with my buddy. We were just skydiving, doing some crazy shit, and so we met up with these guys that we were whitewater rafting with, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go have some beers at this little campsite. You guys want to come?" We're like, "Fuck yeah, yeah." So we were at the campsite and we're just shooting the shit, saying like, "Yeah, I'm in the military, and I was in the military," and um, basically we got on the topic of like disciplinary actions and stuff, and like what happens if you were to get in trouble in the military, and basically they told us the story of how some unit lost tanks, like 12 of them or 20. I think there was 20 of them. They found 12, and like it just blew my brain that they lost that many tanks in the mountains. Like, how do you do that?
Jeez Louise.
They're tanks. And I guess also their
Couldn't lose a
bridges
car.
are they're just fun fact. Their bridges are like always maintained with explosives ready to detonate in case like there's an invasion, so they can just blow them up and they'd have to like trek over the mountains. I thought
Oh
that was pretty
yeah.
cool. And also, I think I heard Switzerland is breaking their neutrality, right? Did you guys hear
Yeah.
about that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like 60 some years of neutrality. They're apparently like almost like 100 years of neutrality actually, and they're like, yeah, Russia's really fucking up here. We'll put some sanctions on them.
Oh, another crazy thing, because the world's, uh, Switzerland. Nobody would have expected that, right? Same time, Japan is talking about maybe we should host nukes from America because it's that crazy right now.
So you're telling
Now,
me Japan's asking for more American nukes?
in
Didn't
a
see that one coming.
in a different way. Yes, they
Yeah, but no, that's wild. Go
are.
on.
There's a lot of people in government that are saying, absolutely not. But the fact that they're even giving this an option or discussing it is outrageous. Um, did you guys see that? I mean, Russia's pushing the fucking limit so much, guys. They had a helicopter fly into Japanese airspace, and we had to scramble jets just the other day. And they also had a team of 4, I want to say bombers, but I could be wrong, fly over Sweden. Like, they're pushing everything to the limit.
They're cruising for a bruising, man.
And the world is going crazy. I mean, look, Switzerland, Japan, who has their corner? Like, not a lot of people.
Belarus apparently letting them march troops right through, no problem at all.
Yeah, well then they have their support from, what's that special state of Russia that's like Chechnya or something? I could be wrong. It's like Muslim
Could be,
Russian though.
could be. Yeah, it's probably Chechnya.
And they
Chechnya's
have,
pretty fucked though. I mean, they had like gay concentration camps, and I say that like literally, like they would like put homosexuals in concentration camps. Like no joke. Chechnya was
yeah,
fucked up. Might still be.
crazy.
I don't know. But yeah, if you don't know about Chechnya, take a look at what's happening or what has happened in Chechnya. Let me know if it's still going on. And yeah. On that note, I think we've covered about everything twice. Our prayers are still going out to Ukraine. I hope the situation becomes alleviated soon. I hope that uh, very few Ukrainians lose their lives. Um, Russia, I hope you get a leader in that cares more about advancement than conquest. And I hope we avoid a nuclear war because that doesn't sound like something I want to live through.
Yeah, I
And I
don't
hope
want us
gas
to be the
prices go
next
back
Three
down.
Dogs, like in Fallout.
Yeah, I really hope that gas prices go back down because that's getting a bit outrageous.
Oof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can hope in one hand, shit in the other. Gas prices aren't going anywhere except for
One
up.
175 here in Japan per liter. So
Yeah, yeah.
what are you guys at? Just roughly.
409 without my coupon stuff that I got with my Shell card or whatever. But yeah, like 409 a gallon.
What about you, Lane?
Well, There's this dude I work with. He's a manager at a gas station at night, and he came in yesterday and said, "Get fuel because it's going to go up to 4.50." I haven't checked, but he said it's going to go to $4.50. So,
Ouch.
and
Yeah,
I mean
they're
he knows.
they're saying it's going to reach 5 by the end of the year. Not stoked about that personally. But anyway,
That is so fucked up.
ah,
Think about that.
yeah.
$5. Like what?
In
What are
3
we in
years, we went from
California?
in 3 years we went from like $2.19 to fucking $5. It's fucked.
Oof.
Anyway, I really hope I can see you guys next week. Hope nothing crazy happens between now and then. But until next time, thanks for joining us. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos. There's a whole playlist of us having guests on. A lot of good people, a lot of good thoughts, a lot of good ideas. And yeah, it's there waiting for you. Go enjoy it for me.
All right,
Goodbye.
guys. See ya.